Hey everybody, here for Real Housewives of Atlanta, season 8, episode 8. So let's get into it. It started off with Peter and Cynthia and getting back to rekindling their romance, which I think is good. You know, Peter sent her flowers. They went on a romantic dinner in the park. And, they're just, Cynthia's basically having high hopes for continuing her marriage and working on it. So kudos to them. Black love. Peter just better shape up and not get in trouble like that again. But now we're at Candy and Demetria, and they're meeting up, discussing business. Candy and Demetria made a song together called "Unnecessary Trouble," and Candy is like, I know I said that I wouldn't do business, I wouldn't mix business and friendship again because of everything that's happened in the past. But Demetria cut me my check on time, so I'm cool. I'm like, see, Candy is just all, she's like, pay me my money and we'll do good business. Makes sense. So they're just discussing the video and how they're gonna basically camouflage and make it look like that Candy's not showing as much, like basically hide her baby bump a little bit. So they're just cracking jokes or whatever and just talking about it. And Don Juan is like, I just want her to be okay. I don't want her to be tired. This is a high risk pregnancy because she's a little bit more mature. And, Candy took that like as it was a shot to her age. And it's like, no, that's not it at all. Yes, you're over 35, but we know you're not old, but it's just that you have to take care of yourself when you're that much older and you have a baby because it does become high risk. So, Candy's basically like, listen, Holly Berry did it, Jennifer Lopez did it, Mariah Carey did it, I can do it. And it's just all about, balancing and not going overboard. So, Bun, who's Apollo's friend, meets up with Phaedra. He brings gifts for Aiden and Dylan, coming to check on them. And Phaedra's like, you know what? Bun is a good friend, unlike Apollo's other friends. He comes and he sees the boys. I want the boys to have positive male role models in their life, and Bun is that for them while their father's away. So Bun and Phaedra discussing the situation. And Phaedra, Phaedra's like, well, Bun is telling her that Apollo says that he doesn't talk to the kids, he doesn't see the kids. And Phaedra's like, well, your friend like to tell stories. I'm like, clearly, because remember, he had everybody believing for 2 years that him and Kenya did something in LA when it turns out they didn't. But anyway, so Phaedra's like, he was a terrible husband, but he was a good father. And, I hate that the situation had to be this way, but it is what it is. So next we get to the video shoot with Candy and Demetria. They're filming the video and they're filming takes, and they picked some really good outfits for Candy to hide her baby bump. Like they picked like a nice big flowy shirt. Like she had I think 3 different outfits where you couldn't really see her bump, but I'll get to that later. But when Candy was filming, she was in her zone, in her mode, singing and dancing and whatnot. But then after they did the take, she was like, I'm winded or whatever. So they were just like, they're gonna take it easy for the rest of the shoot. So Portia and Phaedra come and they support her. Now Marlo and Kenya, they're working out, and Kenya's trying to get Marlo on the same workout regimen that she's on. And Matt, who's a friend of Kenya's, he's like, I guess, a trainer at the gym that Kenya works out at. He comes and he meets up with them, and Kenya's like, well, we flirted, but he's like a lot of years younger than me, and he doesn't really meet my requirements of what kind of guy I would want, but he's a sweetheart and whatnot. And I'm like, well, Kenya, you're like knocking on 50. What options do you have at this point? And this dude, you know, in certain aspects, age ain't nothing but a number. And this dude seemed like he is very mature for his age. So you need to give him a shot. And he was bold enough to ask her out on a date. And Marla was like, he's fine. I might give me a youngin' because he's fine. And I'm like, right, this dude is cute. You playing yourself. You sitting up here talking about requirements that you got in a man. I'm not saying that you need to lower your standards, but I think you need to chill with them standards for a bit, because if you really want marriage and kids within the next few years, you need to, rest your standards a little bit, because you asking for too much. So, Kenya and Matt go on their date, and he took her to play a game of basketball in the gym, and she's like, I've always been to dates where we go to dinner and a movie, never been on dates where we've actually done a physical activity, so it's fun. So he made a wager. He said if he wins basketball, she has to claim him as her boyfriend. But if she loses, I guess she has to decide if they go on a second date or not. I don't remember what he said for her. So he lost, but he was basically like, if I would have won, this conversation would have been going differently and whatnot. And they're just talking. They're just talking and seeing how everything goes. And Kenya is like, well, I just want to take it slow because he doesn't meet all my requirements, but it doesn't hurt to just put myself out there and give him a chance. I'm like, okay, Kenya, whatever. Let a good one go if you want to. So Phaedra's in the car with Aiden, and I guess it's like his first day of private school and kindergarten. So, Phaedra's like, well, how do you feel about your first day of school? And he's like, I'm excited. And she's like, well, I didn't, I wasn't really, I was hoping that you wouldn't grow up and be, you would be my baby forever. And he was like, I'll always be your baby. I'm like, oh, this just tugged at my heartstrings. And then he was saying, that he's kind of, what are you making noise for? He was saying that he wants to go everywhere Phaedra goes, so he's kind of nervous about starting school. And she's like, well, I'll be there every day to pick you up and to take you to school, so I'll always be with you. Like, this whole scene just basically, it just melted my heart because I'm like, I know I'm gonna feel the same exact way when my kids start daycare or preschool or whatever. Like, oh my gosh, because you're so used to being in the house with them all day every day, you're not really used to like taking them to school, picking them up. It's just that they grow up so fast. So I felt where Phaedra was coming from. She was sitting in the front crying. I was sitting here trying not to cry with her. So Portia is on Skype with Oliver, and they're just discussing getting to know each other and whatnot. She was asking him if he's dated a black girl before, and he said he's dated Latina girls. And she's just like, they're flirting, and she's like, well, this from this angle, all you see is my boobs. And he was like, well, that's a good angle. They're talking about boobs and butts. And, clearly Oliver is, like I said before, staking his claim, and he really does like Portia, so that's cool. So, now we're at the video release party, and Kim Fields is just uber excited to get her nails done, her lashes done, and she's like, this social circle is giving me a social life. I'm painting my nails. I got me a nice outfit. Me and my man hanging out. Like, we grown for reals. I'm like, right. You be in the house consumed with being a parent all the time. You forget to go out and have fun and live your life. So, Candy is trying to find an outfit to wear for the night, and then they're discussing Phaedra and the event. And Todd is like, as long as I get my money, we cool. I won't have no ill will towards her. But the fact that we have this awkward situation hanging over us is something that we do need to discuss because it is weird between us. So, all the ladies arrive. Kim comes and she has on this outfit where it's like black. The shirt is like black and silver, bedazzled, and she had on like some little booty shorts and some knee-high boots. Like, she was living for it. But naturally, because Kenya is still in her feelings about Kim calling her out on her BS, she's talking about some. Kim looks like a confused prostitute from Disney World. What was she thinking putting that outfit on? I'm like, you are such a hater, but whatever. So, Todd was discussing the issue that he had with Phaedra, because I think Phaedra came in and she said hi. So Todd was discussing the issue that he had with Phaedra, and he was just basically, like he said earlier, as long as we clear the air and, we get the money issue in order, I don't have a problem. So, they debuted a video, and this time the sound works, because, last year when Demetria was debuting her video, the sound wasn't working. So the video looked like it was hot. It was colorful. It reminded me of The Boy Is Mine, but the 2015 version, like they said on the show. Demetria looked nice. Candy, you could not tell that she was pregnant at all. Every outfit they got for her in this video was perfect, because you don't see her baby bump. And I mean, it's cool if they would have had a baby bump, but it wouldn't have went with the story of the music video. So I thought the video was nice. I can't wait to see the whole video and hear the whole song, but it was nice. So, Phaedra approached Todd afterwards and was like, hey, would you like to meet up at my office so we can discuss the issue we have? And, Todd is surprised. So when Phaedra left and she was discussing that she approached Todd, she was like, well, you got my money from it, but I don't even have a product out, so why are you complaining? So Todd was like, I'm just surprised that she approached me or whatever. Did you, he's telling asking Candy, did you tell her to? She was like, no, I just feel like maybe, from us being in Miami, she felt like, she want to clear the air, make everything cool again. She would discuss the issue with you. So Phaedra and Portia and Shamia just discussing Todd and the workout video that she did while she was pregnant. And Portia is just like, well, is this gonna is this gonna bring up old beef with you and Candy? She's like, no, me and Candy good, we're okay. My issue with Todd is not my issue with her. So, they're just discussing the situation. Here comes Don Juanita sticking his nose in business, and Don Juan always makes a situation worse than what it is, because he did this same exact thing when Portia and not Portia, when Candy and Phaedra finally made up and spoke. He gonna come and basically tell Candy, well, she still owe you money and she this, and y'all in here crying together and blah blah blah. I'm like, yeah, because they're trying to be cordial and they're trying to work out the kinks of their friendship. You come in and offering your 2 cents that nobody needs, you making the situation worse than what it is, and you really need to hush your mouth. So he come out there on 100 talking about, I hear y'all gossiping out here about my people, so I had to intervene, and y'all are talking and y'all being loud and belligerent, and Portia's like, we're not doing that at all. And they were not standing there being belligerent. They weren't standing there being disrespectful. They were just discussing the situation. You overheard. You didn't hear the whole situation. So that's where you need to keep your mouth shut. Like, Don Juan wants his peach on this show so bad. It's sad. And he really needs to stop. Like, Don Juan irks my soul. And I'm like, you know what? I need for Riley to check Don Juan again, like she did on Candy's ski trip. Because Don Juan is annoying. He's a queen. He is a queen. Not a good one either. A queen. He's right up there with Jason Lee. Because I can't. Don Juan, he's annoying. And I'm pretty sure every one of my people who are a part of the YouTube community read him for filth tonight. I'm pretty sure, and I'm going to watch the review too. I'm pretty sure Ashley Miller going to read him for filth. Messy Miles, who else? Bondi Blue. I'm pretty sure all of them are going to read him for filth, and I will be here for it, because Don Juan is just, like, he just makes situations worse than what they already are. But, Portia, Phaedra didn't even pay it no mind. And that's what I liked about Phaedra. Phaedra was like, well, you know what? I ain't about to argue with you. Let's go, Portia. So Portia was like, Don Juan got his pink panties in the bunch. And Phaedra was like, I'm not going to sit up here and argue with one of Candy's workers. And I'm like, that's right. Exactly. The queen does not address the peasants. Okay? So do you, boo, Phaedra? I was like, yes. But that's basically where it ended. So, pretty good episode. It was okay. Next week look like it's gonna be better, because Candy and Portia talk, and then Phaedra and Todd finally talk. So it looks like it's gonna be an interesting episode. But that was season 8, episode 8, and I will see you guys in the next video. I'm gonna do Love and Hip Hop and Black Ink Crew. I see that 2 episodes of Black Ink Crew come on tomorrow, so I guess I'll be doing all 3. They may be delayed because this week is New Year's, but I am gonna do, because I do it every year, I am gonna do a last vlog for the new year, and then leave it be. But I'm gonna try and get, if I don't get all 3 videos up, Love and Hip Hop New York and the 2 episodes of Black Ink Crew, if I don't get them all up at once, I am gonna try and do at least 1 or 2 of them, so that I won't have a lot and be backed up. Keeping it current, I'm postponing until this weekend because of the holidays. So that'll be up Saturday, hopefully. So I'm catching up. I'm getting there. But like I said, I'll discuss everything further in my last vlog of 2015 video. So I will see you guys then. Like, comment, subscribe, tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Later.